see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. We will solve March 2023 exam. Let's start. What is used as a means of classification? The number of strands of messenger RNA, or B, the shape of DNA molecules, or the sequence of bases in DNA, or the types of bases in DNA?
C.
Yes, sequence of bases. Very good. Actually, this is the most accurate method. How many joint legs does an insect have? 2 pairs, 3 pairs, 4 pairs, more than 6 pairs?
B.
B. Of course. The photomicrograph shows a cell from a type of aquatic plant. You have S and R and Q and P. Which labeled parts indicate that this is a plant cell?
D.
Yes. Q is what?
Cell wall.
Good. And what is S?
Chloroplast.
Perfect. Now, what is R?
Cell membrane.
Yes, this is the cell membrane. Now, I just want to clarify that Q is pointing to the middle of the wall. So this is a cell wall, and the R is towards the inner wall, if you can see the inner layer. So this is the cell membrane. What is P?
Nucleus.
Nucleus. Well done. So the answer, yes, is D. Good girl. The diagram shows a red blood cell, and the actual diameter of the cell is 7 micrometers. Here, there is a line with 49 millimeters. What is the magnification of this cell? Now, how do we do it?
Image over actual diameter.
Yes, AM. What is the magnification? So they want the magnification. So they want I over A. What is I?
Image over actual.
Okay, now there is a chance that we will not get this answer correct, because during printing the dimensions are not done, and we cannot measure the red blood cell here on the screen. But what will you measure?
We're going to change a millimeter
Hello?
to micrometer.
Yes, you will convert the millimeters to the micrometer times 1. How do we do that?
Times 1000.
Yes, so 49 multiplied by 1000, okay, it's going to be 49,000, and then we will convert that to micrometers. You don't need to do any what's this called, measurement here, because this 49 millimeters is considered the image. And then we will divide the 49,000 divided by what?
7.
7 micrometers. And the answer will be times 7,000. So the answer will be C, 4C. Okay, do you understand how we got 4?
Yes.
Which molecule crosses a partially permeable membrane during osmosis? This is so easy.
D.
Yes. Okay, we want to get the first 20 correct with no mistakes. The graph shows the rate of uptake of magnesium ions by 2 similar plants, X and Y. The roots of each plant were placed in a range of solutions. Each solution contained a different concentration of magnesium. All other conditions were kept constant. The moment you see a graph, you always relate the X and the Y axis. So you will look at the X axis, you have the concentration of the magnesium on the X axis in the external solution, and on the Y axis, the rate of the uptake. You have plant Y, and then you have plant X. You have here an increasing rate of uptake, and then it becomes constant. An increasing rate of uptake, and then it becomes constant. It's obvious that plant Y took more magnesium in. There was more rate of uptake of magnesium by plant X, not plant Y, plant X. What is a possible explanation for the difference in the results for the two plants? Now, before I move on, the uptake of ions, how does it happen? How is it done?
Diffusion, then active transport.
Yes, okay. Active transport. Put this in mind. An active transport, of course, it needs energy, it needs respiration, it needs carrier proteins, and it needs a living cell membrane. So what is the possible explanation? Let me zoom in. Plant Y has fewer protein carriers for the magnesium in its cell membrane. Is this correct? Plant Y, does it have less protein carriers? What do you think? Yes or no? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Now, from the graph, it is obvious that plant X had a greater uptake. And we said that the plants, they take in ions by active transport. So plant X had everything suitable for active transport. It has more energy, more carrier proteins, more energy produced, more mitochondria. Plant Y did less uptake. So then it will have less of the things needed for active transport. If they tell you that plant Y had less protein carriers, then yes, it's very right, because plant Y did less active transport. Now let's make sure that B, C, and D are wrong. Plant Y has a higher rate of respiration. What do you think? B is right or wrong? It should not take you all this time to tell me if B is right or wrong. Hello?
Wrong.
It's wrong. Plant Y has more root hair cells. Of course not. Plant Y took less magnesium. And the root hair cells in plant Y, they have a lower water potential. Okay. The root cells in plant Y actually did less diffusion, less active transport, and they don't have a lower water potential, because if they had low water potential, then the water, like this is the root hair cell of plant Y, they have a lower water potential, means they are very concentrated, means that the water will move from out to in and the ions will move from out to in, and they did not uptake magnesium ions. The opposite happens. So it's A. Which substance is used to test for vitamin C? Benedict, DCPIP, ethanol, or iodine?
DCPEP.
Okay, I'm back. Yes, it's DCPIP. In DNA, what is the correct base pairing? T with C, T with T, T with G, or T with A?
T was A.
Yes. What remains at the end of an enzyme controlled reaction? Enzymes and products, enzymes and substrates, enzymes only, products only. Hmm? Nine. A, B, C, or D?
A.
Can someone give me an answer? Of course, because the substrates will be broken down. So we will not have substrates. We will have enzymes and products. Remember, enzyme plus the substrate will give us the product. So it's A. Yes. Which feature explains the specificity of an enzyme? In other words, why the enzyme is specific? A, complementary shape of active site and substrate, denaturation at certain pH values, temperature change leading to change in enzyme activity, varying frequency of effective collisions between enzyme and substrate. Again, it's very
A.
clear. What's 10? Yes.
A.
A plant is placed in the dark until it is stored. Starch is used up. This is D. We are removing the starch here. The plant is placed in light with black paper over part of one green leaf. So you have the black paper over both sides of the leaf, and it is covering part of the plant. We first de-starched it, and then we did a hole here in the paper. After 8 hours, the leaf is tested for starch. Which diagram shows the appearance of the leaf after this test? A, B, C, or D?
B.
Yes, of course, very obvious. Because the parts that were covered, they will not produce starch. So they will, here, starch not present. It's B, very easy. The diagram shows part of a cross-section of a leaf. You have R. What's R?
Waxy cuticle.
Hmm. Yes, the R is the cuticle. Okay, what is S?
Palisade mesophyll.
Yes, what is T?
Spongy mesophyll.
Spongy mesophyll. Okay, good. Now, what do they want? Which row shows the correct labels? R is the cuticle. We just said it. So the moment you see that, you will cross out C and D. They're wrong. It's either A or B. S is the palisade mesophyll. So what's the answer? Very easy.
A. A.
A, okay? Yes, paper two is easy, but it should not be ignored. A lot of you are telling me that it's easy and they are ignoring it and they were leaving it till the last few days. No, you have to solve as much as possible. The diagrams show the different types of human teeth. Which teeth are used for grinding? 1, 2, 3, or 4? A, B, C, or D? Okay, it's very easy.
A. C.
Yes,
No,
it's
A.
A. Yes, okay, A. 2 and no, it's actually not 2. This is 3 and this one.
1.
This is a canine. Yes. And this is an incisor. And this is a premolar. And this is a molar, number 3. Okay, easy. The diagram shows the villus structures. P and Q absorb different products of digestion. Which row identifies the products absorbed by P and Q? P is this vessel here, and Q is the central vessel here. So what does P absorb and what does Q absorb?
B absorbs the glucose and Q absorbs fatty acid.
Excellent, well done. Q are the lacteals. The arrow shows the movement of substances from the soil into a root hair cell. So you have here some arrows. Which substances move from the soil into the root hair cell? Carbon dioxide and oxygen, glucose and water, mineral ions and glucose, water and mineral ions. Very obvious.
D.
Yes, water and mineral ions. Okay, so by which process does water escape from stomata in the leaves? Active transport, diffusion, evaporation, or osmosis?
Diffusion.
Of course, it's diffusion. Okay. Why is it diffusion? Why didn't you tell me osmosis?
Well, it's a gas. Osmosis happen only in
Well
liquid.
done. Of course. Because when water transpires, it is now water vapor. It's gas. So we describe it as diffusion. Excellent. Which row about the circulatory system is correct? Part that pumps the blood, choose one. And the part with valves, choose one. What is the part that pumps the blood? If you have a question that is confusing you, what pumps the blood?
Heart. Aorta.
Heart. So the answer is either A or D. I'm going to not even look at B and C so that I save time. Now, the part with valves, heart and veins or capillaries and arteries?
Heart and veins.
Of course, very easy. Sometimes when we answer difficult multiple choice questions, especially in the future, like next year, we answer by exclusion. We look for the wrong answers and then we exclude them and then we will have one correct answer. The graph shows pressure changes that take place in the right atrium, right ventricle, and left ventricle of a human heart when the muscle walls contract and relax. Okay. Now, this is a graph that you've never seen before. But before I move on, which chamber in the heart has the highest pressure when the heart contracts? The atria or the ventricles? And which ventricle? When the heart contracts, which chamber in the heart? Let me remind you, we have 4
The
chambers,
left
okay?
ventricle.
We have the left and the right. Yes, well done. We have the left atrium and the left ventricle and the right atrium and the right ventricle. Now, the atria and the ventricles, the whole heart does not contract at the same time. The atria, they contract first and then followed by the ventricles. We'll take the cardiac cycle later. Okay. Now, which chamber has the strongest muscles and it pumps with the strongest pressure? It's like your friend said, the left ventricle, because it will pump the heart to the aorta. And from the aorta, it will have to have enough pressure to pump it to the whole body, the systemic circulation. What is the pressure in the right ventricle? Pay attention to the question, not the right atrium or the left ventricle, the right ventricle. When the left ventricle is at its maximum pressure. Now, I want you to tell me, what is the grid that represents the left ventricle? Let me give you letters, A or B or C. What's the grid that represents the left ventricle?
A.
Yes, you are correct. Okay, so here is the left ventricle, but they're not asking for the left ventricle. They are asking for the right ventricle, which is which letter?
B.
Which is right? Yes. No, not B. We said that the ventricles contract together. So the right ventricle and the left ventricle, they contract together. So while the left ventricle is contracting, the right ventricle is also contracting, but the left ventricle will have higher pressure. So this is the point representing the left ventricle. And just below it will be the point representing the right ventricle. Do you understand? It can never be the grid at the very bottom, because this will be the atria, not the ventricles. I have three grids. One maximum grid or one highest grid. This is the left ventricle because we know that it comes with the strongest pressure. And then just after the left ventricle, in order of pressure, will be the right ventricle. So this will be the grid that represents the right ventricle. And the last grid that is very low here, this is an atria. These are the atria. So if this is the peak of the left ventricle, then we'll move down and we will look at the peak of the grid just below it. It will be somewhere here. So the answer would be C. It's the closest answer to 3. 18C. Did you understand 18?
Yes.
18 is tricky. Okay. Now let's always make sure in tricky questions, 18C. Okay. I hope you understand. I'm going to highlight it for you so that you can go back and look at it. Okay, 19. The sequence of amino acids and antibodies enables them to complete which function? What's the function of antibodies? Bind to a specific antigen or bind to all pathogens or perform phagocytosis or confer passive immunity for all diseases.
A.
This is, yes, it's a clear one. 20. The table shows some of the changes that occur during breathing, from contracted to relaxed and from relaxed to contracted. Now, this is confusing, okay? Which changes occur to cause inspiration? Now tell me, inspiration is breathing in or breathing out?
Breathing in.
In. So it's inhalation. Now, which muscles contract when we breathe in?
Diaphragm. And
Yes, the diaphragm. And what is its best friend?
external. Internal.
Yes, you're correct. So the diaphragm and the external will contract because we're breathing in. So I'll give you a second or two to figure out the answer.
C.
Yes, you're correct. C. Okay. They're trying to confuse you. They're playing around with words because now we agree that we are breathing in and the diaphragm and the external will both contract. So from relaxed to contracted, it will be X and Y, and the internal intercostal muscles will relax. So this will be R. So it's C. 21. The apparatus shown was used to investigate aerobic respiration in seeds. The apparatus was placed in a dark room. Okay, don't ignore it. Look at it. Here you have seeds soaked in water, and we have a wire mesh, and we have a chemical which will absorb the gas produced by the seeds. Now, what is the gas absorbed by the seeds when they are respiring by aerobic respiration?
Carbon dioxide.
Yes, so carbon dioxide will be absorbed by this chemical. And there is a colored liquid, okay? All environmental conditions were kept constant. What will happen in the apparatus? Now, before I look at the question, this colored liquid will move in which direction? In or out, and why? This question is common, by the way.
In.
Yes, in. Okay, now explain why in. Why will the colored liquid move in this direction?
As as the carbon dioxide is being absorbed.
Yes. And the seeds,
And
they are doing what?
aerobic respiration.
Very good. So in aerobic respiration, the seeds are absorbing which gas?
They're absorbing the oxygen.
Yes, you are correct. So we
right?
have
So
oxygen
they're
gas
absorbing the
absorbed by the
oxygen.
seeds. Yes, you are right. Yes, you are correct. So we have oxygen gas absorbed by the seeds, and we have CO2 gas absorbed by the chemicals. So all the gases in this container are absorbed. This is going to create negative pressure, and it's going to pull the colored liquid towards the seeds. That's why it's going to
Mm-hmm.
be moving in this direction. Now, what will happen in the apparatus? What is the gas taken in by the seeds? You have two options, carbon dioxide or oxygen.
Carbon
Carbon
dioxide.
dioxide.
Taken in. What is it? The seed is absorbing? We just said it.
By
The
the
seeds, they're
seed.
doing
Oh, they're taking in
mm,
oxygen.
oxygen. So it's not
Yeah,
A and it's not B.
not
The
both.
answer is either C or D. Okay. Gas
Mm-hmm.
absorbed by the chemical, carbon dioxide. They're both
Yeah,
giving you
carbon
one option
dioxide.
anyway. It's carbon dioxide.
And towards
Direction of movement of the color towards the seeds. So the answer
the
is
seed.
C. Okay. 22. We're halfway through. Very good. Why is yeast used in bread making? Aerobic respiration produces alcohol. Aerobic respiration produces lactic acid. Anaerobic respiration produces alcohol, or anaerobic respiration produces carbon dioxide.
D.
Yes. Okay. Yeast can respire aerobically or anaerobically, and we will make it respire either this or that based on our needs. When we want to do breads and we used yeast, we will make it respire anaerobically to produce carbon dioxide so that the dough will rise. We took it in respiration. In the diagram, which label identifies the urethra?
C.
Yes. What is D?
Ureter.
Ureter. Good. Which diagram shows, or this diagram shows a reflex arc? Which label identifies the motor neuron? Now, this is also easy.
D.
D?
No,
Someone said
B.
D?
B. B.
Yes, B. Well done. What is A?
Relay. Relay.
Yes, well done. What is D?
Sensory.
Sensory.
Sensory. Good girl. Sensory. And what is E?
The effective.
Rece-
Yes. Exactly. And what is here? Finger pricked by the pin. This is going to be the what?
Stimuli.
The stimuli.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
Miss,
well done.
if I said impulse,
Yeah.
is it wrong?
Yes, it's wrong because impulse
Yeah.
is the erratic message that is being
Mm-hmm.
transmitted around. The stimuli is the change that will start the impulse.
Okay.
25. Which structures contain neurotransmitter molecules in neurons? Chloroplast, mitochondria, ribosomes, or vesicles?
Vesicles.
Yes, this is an easy one. 26. The diagram shows a seedling growing inside a dark box. So this is the dark box and the shoot and the root. Good. Now, which type of responses affect the direction of growth of the root and the shoot inside the box? Response by the root. The root
Gravitropism.
responds to what? To gravity. Yes. So gravitopism. So it's either A or B. It cannot be C and it cannot be D. Now, what is the response by the shoot?
Phototropism.
What did you say?
Phototropism.
Phototropism.
Yes. B.
But there is no photo. There is no light.
Oh, so it's gonna also be gravitropism.
Yes. Okay. Negative gravitropism because it doesn't always
Mm-hmm.
have to be positive. So 26 is A. The root will show positive gravitropism. The root will grow towards gravity. And the shoot will show negative
As it will
gravitropism,
go
grow away from gravity.
from the ground.
Okay. Let's also make sure 26 is A. Yes. 27. Why is an MRSA infection difficult to treat? Now, remind me, what is MRSA? What is
Bacteria that
MRSA?
are resistant to antibiotics.
Yes, this is methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus. You don't need to know its name, but this is highly resistant bacteria that is not easily killed by antibiotics. Now, why is it difficult to treat? I think we answered that. A, it's a bacterium, it's a virus resistant to some antibiotics, resistant to some antibodies. They're playing
C.
around with words. Yes. Antibiotics, not antibodies. 28. What is the order of flower parts through which the pollen tube must grow to reach the egg cell nucleus during fertilization? Now look at that and tell me. The tube, remember this picture? If you
B.
forgot, you can tell it
The
yourself. Yes,
stigma.
good.
The
Stigma,
stigma
and
to
then
the
this
style
to
to
the
the
ovary, and then
ovary to the
into your.
ovule. So B.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. Now the questions will start to become tricky, okay? It always starts from 30 to 40. Which diagram showing the exchange of products between mother and fetus is correctly labeled A, B, C, or D? Let me narrow down. Look at the labels and try. I'll give you a second or two.
D.
Let me see.
Yeah.
The
D.
placenta, correct. Waste products in this direction, yes, out of the fetus. Nutrients towards the fetus, correct. Umbilical cord, yes, I see that it's right. Now let's look for the mistakes in the other diagrams. Now this is the placenta. Waste products. Now, is this correct? Look at the direction. Waste
No.
products. Is it from the placenta to the baby? No. So A is wrong. B.
Uh,
Is this the umbilical cord?
No.
No. Now C. Here. Umbilical cord again. Is this the umbilical
It's the
cord?
placenta, not the umbilical cord.
Well done. So yes, it's B. Now 30. Which statement about the synthesis of a protein molecule in a cell is correct? The gene coding for the protein moves from the nucleus to cytoplasm. Ribosomes assemble amino acids into DNA molecules. Messenger RNA remains in the nucleus, or the sequence of amino acids is determined by the sequence of the bases in the messenger RNA.
Is it A?
I think it's
Is it
D.
what? Who said A? It's not A at all. The
It's
gene
D,
coding for the it's D. Now the
right?
gene coding protein, yes, it's D, of course. Now this is the most popular sentence that you have to write whenever you are asked about protein synthesis. That the sequence of the amino acids is determined by the sequence of bases in the messenger RNA. And where did the messenger RNA get the sequence of bases? From the DNA. If you remember, this is our nice cell here. This is our nucleus. We have a DNA that never goes out of the nucleus. So A is wrong. Whoever said A, the gene coding for the protein moves from the nucleus to the cytoplasm. Genes never move from the nucleus to the cytoplasm. Genes stay in the nucleus. They don't go out. Now we want to only copy part of the gene, not the whole thing, just part of it, part of the chromosome. So we will copy the gene that we want. We will copy the sequence of bases. We will create a messenger RNA molecule that will move out of the nucleus and bind to a ribosome. And the ribosome will then read the messenger RNA and convert it into a sequence of amino acids. So who determines the sequence of amino acids? The
Messenger RNA.
very good. The sequence of bases in the messenger RNA. Well done. Each statement describes cell division by mitosis or meiosis in humans. 1, 2, 3, 4. It produces, now which statement describe meiosis? So put in mind, we're looking for meiosis, not for mitosis. Let's look. 1, it produces cells that show variation. Is 1 right?
Yes.
Yes, of course it's right. 2, it produces cells that are diploid.
No, haploid.
No.
No, of course
Haploid.
not. It produces cells that are haploid. Yes, you just said it. It involves reduction division. Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So
D.
what's the answer? A, B, C, or D?
D.
32.
D.
E? Yes, well done. Okay, good. 32. In humans, what is the genotype of a red-green color blind male? Now remind me, what is the
D.
feature of red bleak colored blindness? Color blindness, this is which type of disease? We took it in
It's a
inheritance.
genetic disease.
It's linked disease.
Not only it's genetic.
It's linked.
Hmm? Yes, it's sex linked. What does
Sex
sex
linked
linked mean?
disease.
It depends on the
XY.
Sex linked.
yeah the sex of the.
Yes, yes, it mainly affects males. It's present
Mhm.
on the sex chromosomes, mainly the X chromosome, and it affects one sex more than the other, usually male.
Mhm.
Now, why is it me? Because it's a male. So male RXY. And do we write anything on the Y?
No.
No.
No, we never. We leave it alone. It's
Okay.
going to be on the X. And we know that it is a recessive allele, so it will be a small r on the X.
Is it always a
So,
recessive allele or can it be a dominant?
yes, color blindness. No, 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 no. Color
No, it's
blindness
always recessive.
is that we studied is recessive. Some sex-linked diseases are dominant, yes, but color blindness, always remember, it's recessive, recessive, recessive. Okay? Most of them are recessive, but some sex-linked diseases are, of course, dominant. Which feature is found in a hydrophytic plant? Now, remind me, what is a hydrophytic plant? It lives in the desert
That
or
lives in water?
Water.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. These are curled with stomata on the inside, or they are reduced to spines, or stomata are sunk in pits in the epidermis, or they have no waxy cuticle.
They have no waxy
They have
cuticle.
no waxy.
They don't need it. They already are in the water. They
Yeah.
don't need to conserve water. 34. Which statements are correct during both natural selection and artificial selection? Only certain individuals reproduce or alleles are passed on to the offspring, or organisms do not compete with each other for survival. What about artificial selection? Tell me.
1 and 2?
Yes. Here there is no competition. It's not
Yeah.
natural selection. So 3 is not with us. It's A. Good. 5 more to go. The diagram shows a food chain: phytoplankton, zooplankton, herring, and sea lion. Now, we did take phytoplankton, but in case you forgot, this is the first organism in a chain. So what is it?
That's
It's
the
a producer.
producer?
It's a producer. Which diagram shows a pyramid of energy for this food chain? A, B, C, or D?
See?
Yes, of course. Of course. A pyramid of energy is wide at the base and then it narrows down, and it always starts with the producer. It's C. Okay. 36. In the nitrogen cycle, what are processes 1 and 2? Look at 1. Nitrogen is in the atmosphere and then it will be inside the plant. So what is 1? I will take it and I will give it to the plant directly.
Nitrification?
Yes. No, it's not nitrification. Nitrification is the conversion of ammonium compounds in the soil.
Okay.
Yes, to nitrogen. This is nitrogen fixation. I'll take it from the air.
Nitrification.
Anything that will take the gas from the air is called fixation. Now, 2, nitrates, they are in the soil and now they go back to the air. So what is 2?
Denitrification.
Yes. So what's the answer?
D.
E. Well done. Okay. 37. Untreated sewage is accidentally released into a river for several weeks. How will this affect the number of bacteria and the oxygen and the number of fish? Now, the number of bacteria, it will increase or decrease?
Increase.
Of course, it will increase. So, I will not even continue. There's only one increase in which A, B, C, or D.
B.
Yes. Okay. And let's look at the rest. The oxygen will decrease, of course, and the number of fish will decrease. It's B. Nice, easy. 38. Wow, we finished. Fish stocks can be conserved in various ways. Which method of conservation ensures that mainly large fish are caught? Having closed seasons, or having protected areas, or having a minimum mesh size for nets, or settling legal fish quotas?
C.
Yes, it's C. Now, very obvious. I hope you get a nice, easy exam. I really, really hope that you score the highest grade in paper 2. It will really lift your grade. So don't take it lightly. Which component of bacteria is genetically modified to produce human insulin? The membrane or the cell wall or the plasmid or the single circular DNA strand?
See, yeah.
Of course. Okay, because we could take the plasmid, we cut it, and we add to it another gene. Fermenters must be carefully controlled conditions, must have carefully controlled conditions. Which condition has the correct reason for controlling it? Condition to be controlled. Supply of amino acids for carbohydrate synthesis. Supply of
No.
glucose, waste product to be moved. No. Supply of oxygen for anaerobic respiration, or pH has to be controlled to be optimum for enzyme activity.
D.
D. Wow, very good. We really improved in the exams. Now let's solve another exam, or we solve another exam on Wednesday. On what's today? Today is what? Tuesday?
Tuesday. Yes.
Okay, I see that we solve another exam.
Sure.
What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, where are we? What are we? I want to choose a 2023 exam. Paper 2, paper 3. Did we solve November and June? I don't know. What did we solve? We did solve something. I don't know what was it.
We solved Feb March.
Okay, let's solve June. I think we solved this exam. I saw it before.
Yes, we solved it before.
We did. We did. Let's choose and we solve 1 minute. So let me choose a 2022 exam to be on the safe side. Where are they? Oh, here, 2022. Let's do March 22. Yes. Okay. Now let's move on. Okay, nice. The diagrams show a test tube containing pond water. The green color is caused by microorganisms that have chloroplasts. Which characteristics of living organisms are shown? Look at the diagram and tell me.
B. Sensitivity, movement.
Give me a second. Let me look at the diagram myself. You all agree that it's B?
No.
Why not?
Nutrition is not.
Why not? Because here we have microorganisms that have chloroplasts, and these microorganisms, they were all concentrated in front of the light. And why did they concentrate in front of the light? They have chloroplasts. So then what do we do? So they do photosynthesis. So nutrition is of course involved. So it's B. Definitely B. Movement, they moved and they were feeding, and then they sensed the presence of the light. So it is sensitivity. Okay. Now 2. The key shows some features of living organisms.
Doctor, we can't hear you.
Okay. I got back the connection. Can you see
We
my screen
cannot
now?
see your screen, but we can hear you, doctor.
No.
Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if the cell wall is made up of cellulose, is it kingdom X or kingdom Y? Is it, I mean, fungi or plants? Is this hard?
Fungi.
Plants.
A
A
cell
cell
wall
wall of
is made up of
cellulose.
cellulose. It's a plant or a
It's a
fungi?
plant. It's a plant.
Plant.
I am not getting an answer.
It's a plant.
Plant.
Did I lose connection? Hello? Hello, are you with me?
Yes.
Can you see my screen now?
No.
Can you hear
No.
me?
We can hear you, but we cannot hear. We
Hello?
cannot see the screen.
Can you hear me now? Can you see the screen now?
We hear you, but we cannot. Yes, we can see the screen.
Okay, let's finish this exam. Again, the cell wall is made up of cellulose. Then it is a plant or a fungi?
Plant.
X.
A plant.
It's a plant, so it's not A and it's not B. Now here, so it's either C or D. Now let's look at Y. Y? Where is Y? It's not made up of cellulose, then it's kingdom Y. So what is kingdom Y if the cell wall is
Fungi.
not made up of cellulose? Fungi. Okay, so they're giving you two options that are both fungi, so we will know the answer from here. Let's look at Z. This organism has no nucleus, so it's a prokaryote or a protoctist.
Prokaryote.
Prokaryote.
So the answer is C. Now 3. I want to zoom in. The diagram shows a mitochondria and the scale bar shows the actual size of the mitochondrion. So this is considered the actual size of the mitochondrion. The diagram is 70 millimeters long. What is the magnification? So again, what is the formula?
The image over the actual.
Yes, the image over the actual IM. Now they want the magnification. So what is the image?
The
What
one.
is A? What is that? They want the magnification. So what is the image? Yes, the 1 micrometer.
One.
And the diagram is 70 millimeters long. So this is going to be considered with these units.
No, we are going to change millimeter to micrometer,
Is
so
into
it's going to be 70,000. So the answer is D.
Yes, the answer is D. Correct. 1/70,000. The answer is going to be 1 minute. Let me divide it. 72. 1 divided by 1, 2, 3. How did you get the magnification?
the image divided
Image
by
over
the actual.
Okay, what did you convert 70 millimeters into?
multiply 1,000, so it's 70,000 micrometer.
Yes. Now, what is the magnification?
70,000.
Why? Didn't we divide 1/70,000?
Oh,
So
so it's
it's
gonna
A.
be
The
A.
answer is
Yeah,
D.
is A. Is A.
A.
1 minute. 22. No, it's D. But we will convert 1 micrometer into millimeters. One uh Micrometer. 1 micrometer is how many millimeters? 1000, yes?
No, if we change 1 micrometer to millimeter, you're going to
One,
divide.
1 millimeter. 1 millimeter is 1000 micrometer. 1 micrometer is 1 divided by 1000. 1 minute. I want to calculate that.
So
So
it's a
this is
0
0.001. 001. Yes. Divided by 70. The diagram is the scale bar shows the actual size of the mitochondria. So the scale bar is 1 millimeter and the diagram is 70 millimeters long. What is the magnification of the diagram? 1 minute. This is what March 22, paper 22. Let's go to the 3 is D. Okay, now, how did you get a D? This is my question. I am. Now we need to convert. When we do the act, then there has to be some, the diagram shows the mitochondrion and the scale bar shows the actual size of the mitochondrion. And the diagram is 70 millimeters long. What is the magnification of the diagram? I am. I is 1 micrometer and the act. No, there's something wrong. You are not telling me what's wrong. I did a mistake and you did not even notice it. Look here. Isn't the equation I am?
Yes.
Yes. We want the magnification. What is A? Is 1
The image.
micrometer. Yes.
The axis.
I was writing it next to the image. So we were getting the calculation wrong and you did not notice. What is I? 70 millimeters. But we cannot divide it like this with different units. So I have to divide 70 over,
They switched it.
or you can switch it, whatever. You just, the units, they have to be the same.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
1 millimeter is 1000 micrometers. So 70,000 divided by 1 will be the magnification. Yes. So it is D. You understand why now? Because the 70 times 1000 will be 70,000. Divide that by 1 micrometer, the answer is D. Did you
This
get it?
is what we did at the beginning.
Yes, but I wrote the numbers, I confused them and I divided them incorrectly, but no one noticed.
Yes.
Okay. Two types of cell, one animal and one plant, were examined using a light microscope. Which row shows the correct combination of structures that would be observed in the cells? Cell structure observed, animal cell and plant cell. Okay, you tell me. I don't have to read it for you.
B.
Yes, we know it from the chloroplast because the plant cell has a chloroplast, so it's B. 5. The diagram shows a cross-section through a leaf. Which arrow shows the direction of diffusion of carbon dioxide on a sunny day? Now, the moment they say the word sunny, here we're doing photosynthesis or respiration?
Photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis. And in photosynthesis, carbon dioxide goes in or out?
In.
In. Very good, correct. So what's the answer, A, B, C, or D?
D.
Well done. Of course, the carbon dioxide will move in through the stomata. Okay. The diagram shows a plant cell after it has been submerged in a solution for 20 minutes. Now, this plant cell looks turgid or plasmolized?
Plasmolized.
Of course. Which row describes the water potential of the solution at the start of the experiment and the condition of the cell after 20 minutes? You tell me.
C.
Of course, we know it from plasmolized and flaccid. Okay. 7. Which row is correct for a positive food test for vitamin C? Is heat required?
No.
No. So it's not A and it's not D. What is the color of the food reagent at the start, and what is the
Blue.
final color?
Blue
Yes. So
and the
what's the
final
answer?
answer is B.
Yes, well done. In which molecule are cross-links formed between the bases? Carbohydrate, DNA, fat, or glycogen? Do we even have bases in carbohydrates and fat and glycogen? Come on.
No,
What's the
it's D.
answer? A, it's D, it's what? It's B.
Yes, I said
Bases.
it's
We have
DNA.
bases. Yes, I did not hear you. Okay, we have cross-links between the bases in DNA. What controls the speed of chemical reactions in all living things? Enzymes, hormones, ions, or vitamins?
Enzymes.
Of course, enzymes. Enzymes have an optimum temperature at which they are most active. Which row explains why enzyme activity decreases if the temperature is not optimum? Below the optimum temperature, what happens to the enzymes? Now, this is so easy also.
Have less kinetic energy. Above
Very
DNA
good.
to
So those
C.
two are wrong. So what did you say?
The answer is C.
Yes, above, of course. Well done. Correct. Now, this question is repeated also. A piece of foil was placed over one green and one white leaf on a plant. La la la, white green foil. The plant was placed under a bright light for 24 hours and then tested for starch with iodine. And the diagram shows the areas of the leaf that would stain blue black. Now, look at the diagram. Which one is the answer? A, B, C, or D? After 24
C.
hours. C, C, C. You said C?
A.
No, it's A, of course.
A.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
it's
part
A.
that is green, yes, the part that is green will give me a positive result, and the part covered by the foil and the white parts will give me a negative result. The graph shows the effect of light intensity on the rate of photosynthesis, light on x-axis, rate of photosynthesis on the y-axis. Which environmental factor is limiting the rate of photosynthesis at x?
Light.
Of course, it's light. I hope you both understand why. 13. Which condition can be caused by a lack of fiber in the diet?
A.
Yes, A. In which test tube will the breakdown of fat be the fastest? Look at the conditions. In A, I have the milk and the enzyme and the bile. In B, I have the milk and the enzyme only. In C, I have the milk and the bile only. And in D, I have, not D, okay, milk and the boiled enzyme and the bile. So what is the best condition?
A.
A.
Yes, it's A, of course. The diagram shows stages in the passage of water through a plant. Which arrow shows water moving in the form of water vapor? A or B or C or D? Now, this is really easy also.
B.
B.
Of course, it's B. Yes, transpiration. Well done. The diagram shows some potato tubers, new shoots are beginning to grow. Sucrose is being translocated from the source to the sink. Which statement is correct? The tuber is a sink, the soil is the sink, the shoots are sources, or the shoots are sinks?
Shoots or sinks
Yes. Why?
because they give, they don't take.
The shoots are sinks. And you're telling me that they give, they don't take. You're wrong, even though
I'm
your
sorry,
answer
I
is correct.
laughed.
They take, they do
Yes.
give.
The shoots are beginning to grow. So they're growing, they're still babies.
Yeah,
And then the picture is very
but
obvious. These shoots are still below the soil. This is the soil level.
they
So these shoots
they
still
still
did not
grow.
start very
Yes,
good. So they need energy to grow. And they still did not
yeah.
photosynthesize. So they can never be sources. The diagram shows a section through the heart. P, Q, and R. Now, what is the function of the structure labeled Q? Again, this is easy.
They're the valves, right?
Yeah, it's a valve. It's an
So
atrioventricular valve. Huh.
It prevents
What's the
the
function?
backflow of
it
blood.
controls the backflow, prevents the
Yes,
backflow.
prevents the backflow of blood. So it's C. Okay. Look at C and D. It prevents the backflow of blood into the vena cava. Is this right? This is the vena cava.
No,
Or
yeah.
it prevents it's here. So it's C. It prevents the backflow of blood into part P because they're asking about Q, valve Q. 18. During the process of blood clotting, damage to blood vessels stimulate L and M is converted to N. Now, what are L, M, and N? Damage to blood vessels stimulate L. So, what are stimulated?
Heparin.
The
What
No,
are
fibrinogen.
stimulated? No.
fibrinogens.
The what?
Platelets.
The fibrinogen? No. Platelets are stimulated. These platelets are stimulated.
Okay.
Platelets plus some enzymes that you don't have to know, they will convert
Fibrinogen.
soluble what
The
into insoluble what?
Soluble fibrinogen into insoluble D.
Yes, it's D. Okay, remember that? Soluble fibrinogen into insoluble fibrin that will create a mesh around the wound and trap more red blood cells and platelets and to create a blood clot. Which statement
Doctor,
about passive immunity? Yes.
I don't really understand this part very well, so
This part here, you have an injury. Okay, this is a small wound. Now, what happens? Now, this small wound is going to activate the platelets. You know what are the platelets?
yeah, I don't know.
These small blood parts. When they are activated, they will also activate other enzymes. You don't have to know the names of those enzymes. And the platelets and the enzymes, when they are activated, they will convert a soluble protein found in the blood known as fibrinogen. It's a soluble in water. And it will change this fibrinogen into an insoluble protein known as fibrin. This insoluble protein will create a mesh around the injury. This mesh is going to trap more red blood cells and more platelets and white blood cells until it creates a blood clot around the wound to protect and cover the wound. Is this better now?
Yes,
This is the
thank you.
scab that you have over your wounds that your mother tells you don't peel it off. It will fall off on its own. It's true. Now, which statement about passive immunity is correct? Antibodies are acquired. It gives a long-term effect. It is inherited or memory cells are produced.
A. A.
Antibodies are acquired means I will take ready-made antibodies from another organism. Compared with inspired air, which description of expired air is correct? It has less oxygen and less carbon dioxide. It has less oxygen and more carbon dioxide. It has more oxygen and less carbon dioxide. Or it has more oxygen and more carbon dioxide.
It has less oxygen and more carbon dioxide. B.
Yes. Which row shows the features of the gas exchange surfaces in humans? Surface area, large or small, thick or thin, that's too easy.
Lord.
Large,
Okay, surface area and thickness, thick or
And
thin?
thin,
thin.
Of course, for faster diffusion. So it's
B.
yes. 22. Yeast is placed inside a container full of a glucose solution with no air. No air means yeast here, it will respire aerobically or anaerobically.
anaerobically,
Yes. Which word equation summarizes the process that takes place inside the container? The glucose will be broken down into alcohol and carbon dioxide or lactic acid, or it will combine with oxygen. Now
A.
that's too clear.
A.
What's the answer for
A.
22? Yes, A. Which process uses energy released in respiration? Diffusion, active transport, growth, or osmosis? What needs energy? Come on.
Osmosis.
23.
No, it's growth.
Osmosis needs energy?
No, it's active transport.
Yes, of course it's growth. Of course it's
Yeah,
growth.
it's growth.
Yes, but there is no active transport in the
Yeah,
options.
and I know
Active
that.
transport needs
Yeah.
energy, correct? But I don't have active. Okay. So you need to choose one that needs energy. Which term describes the removal of the nitrogen containing parts of amino acids to form urea?
Deamination.
Assimilation or deamination? Yes.
Deamination.
Okay. Good. We're halfway through. Which numbered parts from the central nervous system is made up of what?
The brain and
Evidence.
the spinal cord.
The brain and the spinal cord, which are
So
represented
1
by
and
which
2.
numbers?
1 and 2.
Yes, correct. Yeah. Okay. The diagram shows a section through the eye of an octopus. Octopuses have eyes that are similar in structure and function to eyes. Which row identifies the structure of the octopus eye? Now, what is the pupil? Look at the numbers 1, 2, 7, 6, 5, or 4. The pupil.
4.
4. No. 4 is the pupil is the opening that allows the entrance of light.
No, it's 5.
So, what number is it again?
5.
So, 5 pupil. So, pupil is 5. So, the answer is either B or C.
So it's B or
I will
D.
exclude A and I will exclude C. Now, the cornea. Yes, the cornea. Which number represents the cornea? Then you will
6.
which number from the diagram?
6, yeah.
So the answer is D, 6. The lens 2, yes. And iris is 4. 4 is the iris. 27. A person eats a large bowl of rice. Rice contains starch. What happens to the amounts of insulin and glucagon in their body? Nice question. So when you eat carbohydrates, what happens to the insulin levels? Increase or decrease?
C.
Of course, it
Yeah. And the
decreases.
glucagon
So it is either
decreases.
C or D, and the glucagon will decrease because, well done. A study investigated the effect on arm muscle surface area of taking testosterone and during, no, we will not solve this exercise because this question, even though we can, because the steroids were canceled, but it's a graph, so we can. A study investigated the effect on arm muscle surface area of taking testosterone and during exercise. The participants in the study were given either testosterone or a placebo. A placebo is not the drug. Like this is the control. The placebo means they did not take the drug. They took nothing. The placebo does not contain any testosterone. Okay, they just told you. The bar chart shows the results of the study. So no exercise and with exercise. So when you take testosterone, your arm muscle will increase, but with no exercise. But with exercise, look, testosterone levels, they're too high. Okay, you take too much testosterone and your arm muscles increase. That's why men at the gym, they go and they exercise and they take lots of testosterone so that they bulk. But this is fake bulking. It's not actual bulking. This is not our problem now. Which conclusion about the data and the graph is correct? Exercise has no effect on the muscle. No exercise and not taking the drug has the greatest effect, or exercise has the same effect on arm muscle as no exercise, or taking testosterone increases arm muscle surface area. Now, what's the most obvious answer?
D.
Yes, of course, when you take testosterone, your arm muscle surface area increases. That's why they keep on taking hormones and destroying their health. Which statement about reproduction is correct? All living species can reproduce asexually. Gametes are needed for asexual reproduction. Only organisms that are separated from other organisms of the same species can reproduce asexually. Some organisms reproduce asexually and sexually. Which statement is the most correct? Yes. Okay. So it's D. Now, C is wrong because a lot of students, they were confused about C. Only organisms that are separated from other organisms of the same species can reproduce asexually. Why C is wrong? Because remember self-pollination
Yes.
in plants? Self-pollination is a type of sexual or asexual reproduction.
Asexual.
I will not answer you. I am upset.
Asexual. Asexual.
It is sexual. It's not, it's asexual.
Yes.
Here you have pollen. Pollen will be
Cross-pollination.
transferred to the stigma to fuse with gamete. So I have a male gamete and a female gamete. How come it is asexual?
But what about cross-pollination?
They are both sexual.
Okay, okay. They are both sexual, but
How many times we mentioned? Yes, but one gives more variation and one less variation.
sorry, I confused.
Okay, so Yes, I know it is confusing. So, self-pollination is an example of sexual reproduction. But self-pollination can help in reproduction in the wild. So you can separate the plants from other plants and still they pollinate by self-pollination. They will pollinate themselves because a plant can have both the male and female parts in the same plant. That is why C from your syllabus. But let's answer this question. Nicotine can cross the placenta and affect the fetus.
Yes.
You did not take the disease obstructive lungs of the fetus. The woman can become addicted to the carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide causes in the lungs of the fetus. What is the
A.
hello? Yes, it can cross the placenta.
A.
The growth hormones that control the hormone.
Doctor, your voice is not clear
Look
and
at
we can
A,
see the.
B, C, or can you hear? Can you see the
No,
screen?
can see question 30.
Okay, 1 minute, 1 minute. Can you see the screen now? Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Hello? Okay. Now, which hormone is the luteinizing
Yes, we can see
hormone?
this.
A, B, C, or D? A, B, C, or D is the luteinizing hormone.
C.
Yes, of course. Why did you choose C?
Because C is the production of the follicle or the egg, and D is where menstrual cycle takes place. So the production
Your
of
answer
egg.
is correct, but your explanation is correct. C is mid-cycle. C is at the ovulation, mid-cycle. And what is the
Yes,
hormone that is
ovulation, the
released
production of the egg.
because of ovulation? Luteinizing hormone. Oh, okay. I was waiting for the word. Okay, so you're right, my dear.
Doctor, I
Okay,
cannot hear you.
so 32. What happens to the mass of the DNA in a nucleus? Hello? 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 Okay, we're back. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, let us finish this example. What happens to the mass of the DNA in a nucleus before mitosis? It doubles, it halves, it stays the same, or it halves and then it. What happens before mitosis?
C, it stays the same. Or D, it helps, then it helps.
Can you see the screen now? Hello?
No, but we can hear you. Yes, it's not present.
Okay, can you see question 32?
The screen is not present.
Hello?
Yes.
There's something wrong with the internet. Now you can see it?
Yes.
Can you see the screen? Okay. Now you understand why number 32, the answer is A, because before mitosis, DNA will duplicate. We start with a diploid cell with 46 chromosomes. They will make a copy of themselves, and then we will have 92 chromosomes. And this happens so that when the cell splits, the new cells each will have 46 chromosomes. Are you with me?
Yes.
Okay, so you understand why or how you went wrong. 32 is it doubles the mass of the DNA will double before mitosis, so that when the cell divides, one copy will go to one cell, another copy will go to another cell. Can you see it? Can you hear me? Hello?
Doctor, your voice is lagging.
What can I do now? Can you hear me? Hello?
Your voice is lagging, ya doctor.
Your voice is lagging. Hello? Okay, is this better?
Yes.
Can you hear me better now? Did you understand why number 32 is A?
Yes, please.
Can I move on? Okay, 33. In a species of pea plant, height is controlled by one gene. The allele for tall is dominant to the short. A test cross is done to identify the genotype of a tall plant. The table shows the possible phenotypes of the offspring and a description of the genotypes of the tall plant pea plant, tall parent pea plant. Now the phenotypes of the offspring, all tall. What will be the description of the genotype of the tall? They are all tall in test cross. The parent plant will be heterozygous or homozygous dominant. All the children are tall.
Homozygous dominant?
A quick reminder of what is a test cross. It is an unknown parent, yes, with a homozygous recessive parent. We don't know this parent, it's unknown. So 2 is correct. Now, if I have children that are a mix between tall and short, then the
They're
parent
gonna
will
be
be what?
heterozygous, tall and short.
They're gonna be heterozygous. Yes. Yes. Okay. So the answer is what? C, 2 and 4. Do you understand why number 33, the answer is 2 and 4? I'll highlight this question for you also. Dolly and Habiba, are you both sure of question 33? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello? Yes. Okay, good. Let's finish. Which statement about variation is correct? Continuous variation results in few phenotypes with no intermediates. Discontinuous variation results in few phenotypes with no intermediates. Phenotypic variation is caused by environmental factors only, or phenotypic variation is caused by genetic factors only. What is the most
Doctor, I
correct
can see
answer?
the question.
I don't know what's wrong. Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Can you see the screen now? Now,
Yes.
which statement about variation is correct? Continuous variation results in few phenotypes with no intermediates, or discontinuous variation results in few phenotypes with no intermediates, or phenotypic variation is caused by environmental factors only, or genetic factors only. 34,
B.
A, B, C, or D?
B.
B.
B, yes, it's discontinuous variation with a few phenotypes, correct. Some plants have small leaves with thick, waxy cuticles. Which row describes the effect of these features on water loss and the plant that has these features? Effect on water loss, will this increase or decrease? And the type of
It's
plant,
B.
hydrophyte or
B.
xerophyte? Yes,
Xerophyte.
it's
Xerophyte, and it decreases the
finished.
water loss.
Some plants of different species can be crossed. Yes. Some plants of different species can be crossed with each other to form hybrids that have a diploid number of different from either of the two parent species. The diagram shows a cross between plants with different diploid numbers. Species 1, diploid number 70, and species 2 has diploid number X. The hybrid zygote, diploid number 64. What is the diploid number of species 2? Mm. What is the answer for number 36 and why? Number 36. Okay, now this species 1, the diploid number is 70. Now, what is the number of the chromosome in its gametes? So, because we have one gamete here that will fuse with one gamete from species 2, so one gamete from species 1 will combine with one gamete from species 2 to give you a diploid zygote that is 64. So, 70 divided by 2 will be
35.
35. Exactly.
Okay.
Now, 64 minus 35 equals 29. So gamete 2 had to be with 29 chromosomes. But they want the diploid number of species
So we're
2,
gonna
not the haploid.
multiply it by 2.
Haploid is, yes, 29 plus 29 is 58. D. Now, this is very tricky, but they have to give you one tricky
I've
question.
never seen something like this.
Yes, me too. Okay, so I'll highlight that for you. 37. The diagram shows some of the stages involved in the nitrogen cycle. Which process are carried out at every stage? Now, let's look at one. Nitrate in the soil, of course, will now become in the atmosphere. So what is one?
Denitrification.
Denitrification. So I have to look for one and
So it's
denitrification.
gonna
I
be
got the
B.
answer.
Yes, B.
Yes. From the first, yes, very nice. Genetically engineered bacteria are used to produce human proteins. Into which component of the bacterial cell is human DNA inserted to produce those proteins? This is a repeated question. A, B, C, or D?
Um,
Come on. The human gene, it will be put
C.
into which part of the what? It will be
B.
put where?
B.
No,
Oh,
in
we
the
took it in the nucleus. Yeah. In the plasmid. I said this.
you said B. I heard you saying B.
I said
We will
C.
see.
Johnny
Oh,
said
I didn't hear you. It's C, of
Okay.
course. I didn't hear you. Okay, the last two. The sugar in the milk is digested by an enzyme. Which row matches the name of the enzyme with the sugar it digests? Lactase or lactose. What does it break down? Glucose or lactase?
Lactase.
Will break down. Lactase is the enzyme. I
Lactose.
just gave you the answer. Oh my God. Yes, lactose. I gave you the answer. 40. The last question. The list shows activities that happen in a forest. Cutting down only selected trees or educating people about the forest, replanting trees, cutting down trees to grow crop plants. Which activities are likely to ensure that the forest is used sustainably?
1, 2, and 3.
Yes, very good. So the answer is A. Well done. Okay, we solved two exams. You're doing very well, and we always have one or two tricky questions. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Keep on solving, and if you have any questions, any question that you find difficult, send it to me immediately. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye bye.